Today on Clearing the Clutter Inside and Out, we are talking about relationship clutter during the most wonderful time of the year. Do you have that one relative that drives everyone nuts? Are you exhausted from your relationship, suffering from all the added stress of the season? Would you like to have a more peaceful holiday season? Let's continue focusing on the holidays this month.
Are you overwhelmed by clutter, looking to organize your life? Do you feel stuck and are ready for a change? Every Tuesday at 1 p.m., join award-winning professional organizer and coach Julie Coraccio on Clearing the Clutter Inside and Out as she supports you in navigating the waters of decluttering your life and getting organized. Julie thinks outside the box and examines clutter in all areas: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic, and more. Ready to live a more joyful and fulfilling life?
All right, everyone, I'm very excited today. We're having Jen Royster back. I'll tell you about her in a minute. Talking about relationship clutter today because we need to, I suggest, bring the focus back on love and all that good stuff and enjoying the season with all those that you love. You don't want to be stressed out, angry, screaming at each other. All right, I'll tell you about today's guest. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, energy healer, visionary, speaker, writer, and radio host of The Jen Royster Show, a popular international radio show since 2010, syndicated throughout 135 countries to millions of listeners. She holds several degrees, including Doctor of Divinity, ordained spiritual minister, MS in metaphysics, and Reiki master. Jen is well known for her innovative style and intuitive reads, energy healing, spiritual crisis support and guidance, and support for empaths. Her work with empaths has gained respect with many medical doctors and psychologists who refer patients to her for spiritual counseling when clinical routes show no results. A positive move forward in showing the importance and power that energy healing brings to healthcare. Welcome, Jen.
Hi, Julie. It's great to be back here, and hello to all of your viewers. And it's always fun to come over here and just hang out with you. We just have, I forget we're doing a show, and we just have a good time. So it's great to be back.
We do. I really enjoy it. And we did an earlier interview on intuitive eating, emotional eating. That's really great. Check that out with Jen on that. But today we're talking about relationships. So Jen, you've worked with a lot of people in relationships. So what have you noticed is the biggest clutter when it comes to relationships? And is there something maybe that's during the holidays maybe comes up more and becomes clutter for people?
Yes. Well, the main one is we don't realize we're not listening to the other because we're getting busy and we're in our hustle bustle and we've got our list of agenda and they have their list of agenda. And then all of a sudden we realize we're not stopping and listening to, how many times have you found yourself, you'll ask a question to your partner, your husband, spouse, and then they answer, but did you hear it? Mm-hmm. Did you hear it? And you're like, you didn't tell me that. Or did you? I'm guilty. Me too. Everybody does that a little bit when we get busy. Our minds are going faster. We're not connecting. And it's called really a disconnect energetically on a soul level, because with someone like that in a relationship, we're talking relationships like that, right? Intimate, close relationships.
Yep. And intimate and close relationships, but if there's anything, again, since we're kind of focusing on the relationships during clutter, like if there's a family member that maybe you're not close to, but they hold everyone hostage and they suck and then ruin it for everyone. And again, the way we work is just however the conversation flows, we're going to trust that.
I gotcha. When you're busy, you also are taking a lot of energy and you're expending a lot of energy in all those things that you have on your to-do list. Well, they're doing the same probably. And then we might lose patience because we're not stopping and catching our breath to connect with them in communication. It's communication across the board, no matter really what kind of relationship it is, even at work. Coworkers or family members or your kids or your spouse. And it just gets to that point where now everybody's tired because they've expended all their energy on their list and nobody's listening to each other. And then now we've lost some of the patience because you're tired. You don't have any energy to be patient and to wait. And you just feel like the faster you go, the further behind you get. And now you're caught in the hustle bustle frenzy, that thing. And we find that when I've worked with people with this one, and I've done this myself in my own relationships, the best thing to do is just stop. Stop trying to go, 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 and actually go slower and just stop for a minute and breathe. As soon as you do that, you're grounded, you're back here, and it brings you back into a focus where you're here in the present moment with that person. And one of the worst things in the world that I see is if you are physically in a room with somebody, don't be down here in your phone.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, wow. Even though it's like popular right now, and you do have those kind of relationships, I get that, but you're with someone and they really do deserve respect, that they're there, that this is something I strongly recommend, because that's kind of, you're immediately putting out a vibe that this is more important than you. Okay, yeah. Now that's adding to it. And so big on the communication, listening to one another. And if you ask a question, stay present, slow down long enough for that answer to come back. I think we're impatient for the answer. And that is probably the most popular, most common trip up that I see happen when things are busy in our life, whether it's holidays or not. It can happen. You get too complacent. You get too comfortable, and you're like, oh, yeah, whatever. Or you assume and know, okay, yeah. And now there's impatience coming in. So this energy just starts to snowball into something. It doesn't have to be that way at all. And not both, it helps if both partners are working like, okay, let me slow down and think for a second. Mm-hmm. But all you got to do, if you feel like I could do all of this work, but my partner isn't going to do that, and now you feel like you're the only one doing that, it has to start somewhere.
Yes. Because
we send out and we receive. So yes, maybe at the beginning it might be like that, but somebody's got to start like the shift, and you'll find that it calms everything down. So taking that time to actually have a quiet moment for 5 minutes in a busy time can help a lot. Mm-hmm. And it really helps clear out that mental clutter, that energetic clutter of anxiousness and stress, and then it starts kicking into your emotions, and now you just got a big storm. So yeah. It's but anyway, that's the big one, the communication.
So what would you say, do you have any tips for ways for people to connect? I love that you say stop, take a deep breath, get grounded, because I think that's so wonderful, because I found if it's just like if I have a knee-jerk reaction, then it just builds and builds and builds, and I'm like, and you're so caught up that taking that breath, stopping and focusing can really stop you in the tracks, because if not, you're just like this tornado that keeps growing.
Right. No, exactly. Well, stopping and breathing, that's probably the most powerful thing you can do. And you always have your breath with you. There's no excuses. There just isn't. You can't get away. Oh, I forgot that. I left it on the desk. No. Well, then you're not here anymore. So you want to use the breath because it's right there available. You don't have to worry about remembering to bring it with you. It's there. The other thing would be actually when you take that moment, that 5 minutes, and usually this would be with something when you're by yourself. If you're feeling that way, just stop and go, you know what? I don't want to feel this way anymore. And I want to have an intention to hear and listen better. And I want to see whoever it is you might be frustrated with, if that's the case, if that's the situation, see and find something positive in that person in that moment. You may not feel that way right then. They may have really upset you. Well, you can focus on that and keep making that grow, or focus on what you do love about them. And that's what you want to see more of. You would be surprised how magical that can be. And I'm going to use the word magical because it just feels magical. If they've really upset you or they've hurt your feelings or something's happened, stop and go, why am I with this person? What is it that I love about this person? And find that, because you want to focus on that light and that positive side, and just go there and think about that. It will immediately start to settle things down for you inside. I wouldn't try to force anything if they got to calm down too, but you will find that it will be much more productive when things do get sorted out. And then you could propose, if you want them to listen to you, this one's big too. You have to be willing to listen.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do the listening first. And you have to say, you know what? I want them to listen. If you feel frustrated, they're not listening to me, he's not listening to me, or she, or whatever, practice listening better, and you will find that it reciprocates and comes back. So you just have to start practicing that. And these are things that can take just a couple of minutes. If you have to make a couple of cheat sheets, like, wait a minute, how do I get back there? Make a couple of cheat notes. But this doesn't have to be hard. I think it's harder to keep up with that kind of energy. It wears you out. And once you realize it doesn't have to be this hard, wow, it can be this easy, that's when it really starts to sink in, and you want more of that. You have more energy. You have more energy to do things.
I love that. I think that's great. So do you have any suggestions? I love everything is energy. And one of the reasons I enjoy talking to you so much is because you get that, and that's what you do. And I'm just very passionate about putting this out to people. Remember, everything's energy. So I want to, on Instagram, I want a $100 gift card. And I thought, well, what am I going to buy from this store? But I got it yesterday. I have to figure out to do it. But it is a little necklace, and you pull it. I thought it was like a singing bowl and you tap it, but you pull it out. It's tuned to, and you'll probably know the right thing, is at 560 megahertz, which is love, whatever love is energetically. So you blow on it. So I had a lot of fun yesterday trying. They're like, put the whatever towards your mouth. So I have been having a blast with that. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm wearing this out in the world, and I'm just going to because sometimes, you feel the energy. It's kind of, maybe you're at the holiday office party, or you have that family member that drives you nuts. So I'm going to be bringing this out. My family already thinks I'm crazy. So they'll be, it's like, okay, she's doing whatever many things. But what suggestions would you have for people? Say that's the family member, and maybe they can't leave, or what? Do you have any tips for to remove that energetic clutter that's going on?
Absolutely. I mean, if this is brand new to you, and a lot of people it would be, it does help to have something physical that you can do to counter energy, and you can. And if you can't, you have to get into those situations that are stressful. There's a couple of things that you can do. One is, and it's something that I do not have stock in. I don't own anything in this. They don't even know I'm going to recommend it, but I'm going to, because it is the go-to. I like Bach Flower Rescue Remedy and the energy one. They're like this big. I think they even sell it in some of the drugstores now. You can pretty much get it just about anywhere. I go in a drugstore and I don't buy drugs. I like this. No, you can get it on Amazon. You can get it just about anywhere. But it's BACH Flower Remedies. And this one is Rescue Remedy. Rescue Remedy is phenomenal for stressful, sudden, unexpected things, things that may upset you, emotional. And the reason I like the flower essence is because it is an emotional, energetic balancer. And you just take a couple drops. There's one that's a spray. That is a wonderful one to have on hand. When I see people that they've been through the ringer, or they've had tragic loss or grieving or something really highly intense, it works wonders. I've seen it work with PTSD. I've seen, okay, that just blew, the family blow up stuff. It'd be great to give everybody some. Hello. Yeah, you can't make somebody else take this, but you can certainly do that for yourself. So I recommend having one of those and keep it with you. It doesn't do you any good if it's on the dresser, okay? Yeah. But have it with you, because that's for when unexpected stuff happens. Okay. Another one is also made by Bach Flower Remedies, and it is called the energy. It's one for energy. It'll say energy, energy something, but you'll know which one I'm talking about. That one is the one that you would use when you're going through a long, drawn out, draining experience or situation, like maybe you're a healthcare worker, you have like a terminal family member or something, or you're going through a divorce or something really intense or something big, job change, reload, whatever it might be, finances, it doesn't matter. If you're going through a dragging out, chronic day in, day out, maybe it's just where you have to work, what you have to do every day. That's a wonderful one for going through the long term.
Are you feeling stuck? Does your mind always seem to go a million miles a minute? Can you easily navigate the ups and downs of life? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. As a lifestyle coach, Julie supports you in your self-development and well-being by showing you how to declutter your life. She considers herself a CPO, Chief Possibility Officer, because our possibilities are endless. Ready to take the next step? Schedule a free 30-minute consultation. Learn more at reawakenyourbrilliance.com.
And the other thing that I recommend, if you don't have any of that, just go to a kitchen sink at grandma's house, if that's where you are, and throw some salt in your hands and wash your hands. And the reason I say that, nobody knows what you're doing. Just, they're not paying attention anyway. Most of them aren't. Remember, we just talked about the listening and anybody noticing anything other than themselves. But just go grab some salt or accidentally get some on your hands, go over to the sink and wash your hands in the salt. And the reason I say that is salt is a natural conduit. Water is a natural conduit. You put the two together, it immediately will pull out things you're absorbing from the environment you're in. Do that all day long. Nobody knows. They don't need to know. It's your business. If they're into it, they might be interested in it. But it doesn't matter whether they're into this or not. It doesn't matter whether they think you're crazy or not. It's none of, what was it that Wayne Dyer said? It's none of my business what you think of me.
Yeah.
I love that one. It's none of my business what you think of me, because that's not what I am. And it's a very good one that'll help bring you back in check. So those are little simple things. If you don't do any of those and you have been at this event, you get home and you're like, ugh, shower, salt bath, you've got to wash. I call it washing that day off. It works for everything. It works for everything. You don't want to go to bed with that. You want to get that off you and let the water do that. If you live near the water, if you live near the ocean, go dive into salt water. That's really good. But those little guys, those are great things to have with you for whatever situation might come up. And eating better. I'm going to get on this one now. If you are busy and now you're kind of cheating and eating junk or doing all that and maybe too much coffee or this or that, you really owe it to yourself in a self-love way to try to do something about that and try to limit that bad eating habit and bring some healthy stuff in. Because when you do that, your energy, your body responds to whatever you give it to make cells out of, whatever you give it. Okay. We're all wired. This is the whole package here. Soul, body, emotions, the whole thing is a package. So you need to fuel it properly for it to handle things better. And then it's going to go right into that too, because some foods can make you actually irritable or more emotional. Yeah. Or maybe you're around the people that are eating bad and they're all emotional. Yeah. So it goes both ways. But what you can do is for yourself. You can't do anything about what everybody else is doing, but you can certainly empower yourself.
I think that's wonderful. And while you were talking, it's called Rescue Energy. Gotta love Google. You can find everything. You have like
Rescue. Oh, you got it.
Which I used when I got in a car accident. I swear by that stuff. So that was a great tip for everyone. But it's called Rescue Energy, so it's kind of like the rescue remedy.
Yeah, remedy is okay. It just happened. Tragic. Something unexpected. Yeah. rescue energy is you're going through it day in and day out. It's long term. It's non-addictive. It's a natural flower essence, and it's not going to hurt you. I have also double checked with a lot of the medical doctors and psychiatrists that prescribe things for people that may be on things. And people worry, is that going to contraindicate, a problem there?
Right.
And no, it does not. I've checked with psychiatry, and they said, nope, they love it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Give it to your pet, and by the way, if you have pets, give them some too, because guess who else is feeling all this crazy people drama? They need some help too. You can put a drop or two in their water. It helps them so much because they absorb all that from us. If you have animals, and people are like, what's wrong with my dog? Why is my cat being like this? Okay. And now, you've got a cat that's now using everybody's suitcase for a bathroom or something because she wants them to leave.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. She's like, this is what I think about everybody. Yeah. They're not going to hold back, but you can help them out. I'm being humorous with it, but these kinds of things happen. And you want to help them out so they can chill out too. So it's huge. You definitely don't forget about the pets.
I love that. I think that's so true. We used it on the cats. The problem is, especially older cat is very sensitive to anything. Yeah. And if I put anything to his water, he knows that. So we got a little, you can buy aromatherapy that mist. I think there's a term for it. They put the aromatherapy and then condense it a little bit. And then, so it's like the essence. So it's not as strong because the oils are really strong for pets that, the cats and dogs have very sensitive noses.
Well, while you say that, it reminded me, like my animals, I always have it for them, and they just use the rescue or the Bach flower that's made for people, but now they make one for pets. Yeah. So that would be more palatable for them. So you can get that one too if you want to. They make it to where it won't be so strong for them. But definitely look into that. You don't have to feel like there's nothing you can do. And you'd be amazed how you can just get through something you didn't think you could get through and come out of it on the other side, and you're still here. You made it through. And yeah, there's situations in people that's going to happen. You can't do anything about how they're going to be, but you can control how it affects you. And so I've been giving you physical things you can do, but then you do that. Now you can move over to how you're thinking about it. Yes. Because it will help you. You kind of start here, and then it can go, okay, you know what? I got this. And I love that stuff because all of a sudden you just realize, oh, I'm good. I got this. But you don't feel drugged up. You don't feel like you've taken anything. You're just you. And there are emotional balancers and energy balancers that keep you present, but chill out all the other chaos.
Right.
So it's good. It's very good. So I would say definitely look into that. So if you have stressful environments that you have to go into at the holidays, because, I get that. It happens.
Excellent. So do you have any thoughts? I think we've talked about communication, collaboration, some things that people can do. Are there any other tips that you found, and maybe not necessarily the holiday, but that are exacerbated where there tends to be a lot of relationship clutter?
Relationship clutter is going to challenge the egos in everybody involved. I'm going to just tell you right now, egos are going to need to get checked. I know. I like, oh man, she's like calling me out on everything. Trust me, I've been there, done that. And it's a real deal. But you know what? Be okay not always being right. Don't feel like you got to have the last word. Don't feel like you've got to be the one that's right and talk the other person into it. Right. A lot of times what I see is there's two different perspectives, and both very passionate and believe in that. And they want the other person to be on board with what they think. And we have to be okay that they may not think the same way we do. They may not vote the same way in November. We're not going there, okay?
Right. Oh,
I just wanted to throw that
out. Political podcast if people want to listen to that.
Yeah, we're not going there. But that's happening. It's dividing households sometimes because everybody's got a different perspective. It's okay. Let everybody have their right to believe and feel the way they feel about something in their own. It's respect for someone that may see it differently. If you can practice giving that to your partner, to your wife, your spouse, your friend, that's how you'll receive it back. And it's a practice. You've got to do that. And it's not like, okay, I did that, but they didn't do it back. You have to change you. And then when you do that, you're changing the energy that you put out in the world. And that is how you change the reality of what you experience on a daily basis. So it doesn't matter what happened 5 minutes ago or yesterday. That's done. You need to let it go. Start right now with an intention. Okay, you know what? I'm going to practice this. And you won't be perfect at it. You got to let that go too. You're not going to be perfect. Nobody's going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You guess what you do? You get back and you start over and you try again. And you keep working on it until you find a better environment that you're living in, reality, what you're drawing in. Honestly, this is where the miracles happen. When you start to believe that you can empower yourself, you can change the reality you live in. You absolutely can. And it starts from what you're putting out, because whatever you're putting out is what you're telling the universe you want more of.
Absolutely.
So if it's a lot of complaining, guess what's coming back?
I'm laughing. When I peek around, I have a big sign in my office. I have some bulletin boards and whiteboards, and a big one says, "Do I want to be right or do I want peace?"
Yeah, totally. And the ego is going to want to be right, and it's going to want to stand its ground. And especially if you're trying to change a perspective of how you approach life, that's coming from what I call your higher self that's not worried about not knowing how to do it. The self that isn't worried about any of it. It's fine. It just knows what you're capable of. The ego will fight you every step of the way because you're changing it, but it doesn't have to be stronger. It will buck, and I'm calling it so you can recognize it when it happens. Once you start going, okay, I hear you. I know you want to keep going that same route, but we're going to do it this way. And you kind of have to be aware that this happens. And then I'm telling you, it will completely change the dynamics of your relationship. And it's what I call a soul healthy relationship. I do a course on that, and it's an online thing you can go check out. But it's soul healthy is what we're actually looking for with relationships. Soul healthy relationships, SOUL, is a deeper connection. We're respecting one another. We're respecting that they are different and I am different, but we're connected. It's an honor for one another. We listen and we communicate. And people, if you really talk to people, that's what they want. But they have to be willing to do the work within themselves to bring that in. And it will always be right here. It's not going to be about what somebody else is doing. That's never going to help you change what you're drawing in. If they want to stay that way, they'll draw it in over there. That actually will fall out of your life. You want to be right here, making sure that what you put out is what you want back.
It's so fantastic. I'm with you 1,000%. And I have our next podcast episode idea, but we'll talk about that afterwards. But one thing that I've started doing, I have a neighbor, I just am not, it's been some challenges. And so I've started to, and I'm going to admit, if you listen regularly, I put it all out there. I smile and wave. Now, it wasn't what I'd call a genuine. It was kind of like I really, but I thought, you know what? I've got to start where I am and respect that. And I like to say Rome wasn't built in a day, so I started. So the more I do it, the easier it becomes. And the wife would never, ever, it's just a weird thing, and would never. So I especially wave and smile to her. And won't you be darned if she waved and smiled back one day. So I thought, you know what, even if I'm starting, everything's intention. So I thought, all right, well, let's at least start somewhere. but it does. Everything's energy. It makes a shift.
Are you feeling stuck? Does your mind always seem to go a million miles a minute? Can you easily navigate the ups and downs of life? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. As a lifestyle coach, Julie supports you in your self-development and well-being by showing you how to declutter your life. She considers herself a CPO, Chief Possibility Officer, because our possibilities are endless. Ready to take the next step? Schedule a free 30-minute consultation. Learn more at Reawaken Your Brilliance.
It does. And one last thing I wanted to add. Don't be so proud with that ego that you can't apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if something else came from the other half of it, I'm not saying you have to apologize for what they're doing. You don't apologize for their stuff, but don't be so proud that once you are aware of something that you could have done better, or that you will try to do, or that, you know what, I know we have a difference of opinion on this, and I just want to say I'm sorry for not having patience with that. I'm going to work on that. Share that you're going to work in here about that. And that's what you can do. And a lot of times, if this is and I'm going to say this, if this is a worthy relationship that you want to keep and it's not toxic, do you really want to stay in a toxic one? I'm going to just say, do you really want that?
Mm-hmm.
If this is worth it, it will work. But if it just, and they have no intention, do you really want to stay there?
Yeah.
Maybe that's not the one you want. You will start to draw in what will be better for you and more suited for you if you can let that go. So I do want to add that, because that's going to happen too if it's toxic, if it's not good. And I say toxic, it's toxic to you,
Yeah.
or it's just a dysfunctional thing. It's a bad mess. You can change, and you can change what you are attracting in partners, relationships, friends, intimate partners, whatever that might be. And it will start when you start to change this. It may help that one fall away. And
Mm-hmm.
I do need to say that, because if you're afraid to make yourself better and happy because you don't want to lose that, you got some other work to do.
Yeah.
Why you want to stay in something dysfunctional. And there you go.
I
don't
love
hold
that.
any punches. People go, oh, that's hot. Yeah, but no, it's the truth. That's exactly what we're talking about. How do you do this? And that's what it's about. You want soul healthy? You want to have someone that will respect you enough that even when you have a spat, you guys can, okay, let's practice listening to each other. Let's practice respecting that you feel differently about this, and find a way to make it work.
I love that. One of the things I'm really thankful for is my husband and I are able to apologize really well. And I was cranky a month ago, and I went to Target and got a really cute little card, and then he made me cranky, did something, and I was like, and I'd let it go, but he came back with a card, and I'm so thankful that we were able to apologize and say, okay, how can we make it better, and really communicate and say, well, this is how I feel. And I've done enough work to know it's like, it's not about you. You're the spark that maybe is bringing something up for me, but it's so important, I think, to have, I love that you brought this up, because I'm someone that got married later in life, and it is worth it to be with someone who loves you and accepts you and all that good stuff. And I have to tell you, and I was single more often than not, I wouldn't have changed anything, because it's awesome. The relationship was worth the wait.
Absolutely. And if you are in one that all you can do is start working on you, and then see what happens. And you really don't have to try to make something fall apart that needs to fall apart. It will naturally happen the way the law of attraction works with the universe. So just start working here, and don't worry about all those details, and let the universe work that out. I work with angels every day, because they just bring it when you need a little extra support, little pick me up. They just make the journey not so overwhelming. So that's me personally. If that's something you want to do, I suggest it. It just makes the whole process easier. And you just don't have to do it alone. You don't feel like you're all by yourself in this thing. Because when, and you will want to be happy as an individual, you are not, it's not the other person's responsibility to keep you happy. We try to make it that a lot. It's your responsibility, not theirs. And it's their responsibility for themselves, but you are responsible for your own happiness, and you got to do it here.
When I figured that out, that's when I met my husband, because I had that aha moment. Well, it's not my partner's. It's so true, though.
It is. And you start to get it. You go, wait a minute. Because when you're a healthy individual and you're a happy, healthy individual, now you will draw in healthy, happy partners. Because if it's all about what you can do to make me happy, they're never going to measure up to that. It's almost unfair. I mean, it really is unfair. It's never about what they can do to make sure you're good. And a lot of relationships start off that way, and they're not going to be very happy.
Yeah. Because
somebody is always going to do something to, as far as you're concerned, like, wait, that's not what I thought you were going to do. I didn't expect, that it's not their responsibility, but they're trying to do that. And then that's what will drain a relationship. And so now you got a dysfunctional relationship. So there's a lot that I threw out here. I threw out a lot. So,
well, okay.
And I'm sorry, but I do hope that everybody would even play it back and listen, because you've got it all recorded, right?
It can play it back and watch it back, but this will be a great opportunity. I like to have takeaways that I do for each podcast. So what 3 takeaways from today's podcast would you like to share with everyone? What do you want them to take away from everything we've talked about?
They need to stop for a moment, do that breath, and think about where they want to move forward. And if they're happy, if they're frustrated in their relationships, look at the communication and the listening. And if you start there, the rest will fall into place. It really will. So those are the big ones right there. But you need to be aware that you want change. That's how you start the intention of revolutionizing and improving everything that you have coming into your life. So you have to start there.
Great. Excellent.
I think that was 3.
No, don't worry. I'm not counting. It's out of habit. I like to say takeaways from today's podcast. So Jen, how can people find out more information about your website? What good information would you like to share?
Okay. The website is jennroyster.com, JENNROYSTER.com. And we just moved over to a new server, so we're putting a lot of new stuff in. And I'm adding more live web classes. We have soul healthy relationship classes right there, and it's right there on the front. And that's a class that you would see. And these are shorter classes, not big, long ones. We have more. I do a live streaming radio show that I we video broadcast it as well. And we have a cinema page on the website where you can just go and watch the whole thing right there. We call it the cinema page. I have a free, I'm actually getting ready to put another one out too, but I have a free class, and it's got guided meditations in it that are really wonderful. That's probably one of the most popular things that I have that people love. It's right there, right on the front page when you go. It's Intro to Meditation. It's got 3 guided meditations in there, and it gives you a little bit of a jump start if you've never done it before. And to help you get started, it's completely free. And probably within the next, probably any day now, I've almost got this one done. We're also putting out a quick tip guide. It's energy healing for self-care. Nice. Which is what we've been kind of talking about today. And that one's going to be a free one too. I like to put the gifts out there, but absolutely come over and check it out. I'm putting a lot of new things on the site, and it's going to be constant, a lot of more web live streaming classes. So we have more interaction. And the show is live every week on Thursdays. So I got a little bit of everything going on.
Excellent. All right, everyone. I just wanted to share that I've had so much fun podcasting since 2014 and host my podcast with Libsyn. If you're starting a podcast, you can get your current month and the next month free on Libsyn with the code Clutter. I love the Libsyn has great customer service, and I never have to worry about it going out of business and leaving me in the lurch. If you're interested in doing a podcast and want to get a couple months free, go to reawakenyourbrilliance.com for more information. And Jen, as always, a pleasure. I always have lots of fun chatting with you.
Same here. I wish everyone great success and happiness in all of their relationships. And absolutely, it's always wonderful to be here with you, Julie. It's always so much fun.
All right. Thanks again. All right, everyone. Go out, clear the clutter to create the life you choose, deserve, and desire.
Ready to clear clutter and share your gifts with the world? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So what step will you take today? Sign up for our newsletter and receive a free copy of our 10 Steps to Clearing Clutter. Julie Coraccio provides coaching, professional organizing and speaking, organizing classes, positive affirmations, and her unique How to Declutter Your Life course. Learn more at reawakenyourbrilliance.com. Subscribe to Clearing the Clutter Inside and Out and join us next Tuesday at 1 p.m.